Do, 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 do. Okay. I wonder if that's going to make a difference. Always trying something new with the light, right? La, 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 la. All right. Can everyone hear me? Let me know in the chat. No, I don't like that light there. We're putting it back. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Oh, thank you, Joanna. Appreciate that. My hair is still needing dyed. It's wet. That's what happens. My hair never dries within a few hours even of taking a shower. All the curls just dropped because my hair does not hold curls. Anyway. Let's say hi to some people in the chat. Hello, Selena and Joanna. Lovely to see you. Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot. Nice to have you here. Pleasure. Okay. Now, I'm gonna go kind of a little bit slower right now just because I want to give people time to actually show up, because I kind of like really promoted this like super last second. I wasn't really sure if I was gonna I wasn't even sure if I was gonna come out here or not. But I already know that next week I will be on another show on Friday, and I don't know if it's live or not. Honestly, I don't really know much. I don't know. I'm gonna be on with Veronica Bertonelli. Listen, I can never say her name right. I never can say names really easily. So let me just go ahead and we're gonna look at what her name is. Veronica Bartolini. There we go. Wow, what did I say? I don't even know. Okay, so Veronica Bartolini. I will be on with Veronica next Friday at, I believe, 4 p.m. Eastern. So that should be kind of exciting. And I'll be going on Typical Skeptic again. Sorry, guys. We just like got some itches here. Typical Skeptic, I'll be on there sometime next month. Just going back and forth with Rob. So that's going to be fun. Happy Friday, everyone. Yeah, lovely to see you, Jason. Glad to see you here. Okay, so what can I tell you guys about what has been going on? First of all, I'm still not smoking. We're almost to week 2 of not smoking, and I am feeling better and better the more time goes on. As you know, I had some issues with the left side of myself. And so, as I've been saying for the past couple weeks, it's like it feels like grief was rolling in, a lot of grief for, I don't know if it was just me or if it was the collective, but it felt like it was a big, I mean, it pretty understandably so, that grief and sadness would kind of permeate the collective considering the war going on and everything like that, which what a fucking hot mess that is. What a fucking hot mess that is. I tapped into it, and yet I guess I should say this too. I definitely feel like I just made it through some type of portal, like a timeline portal, so to speak, not like an actual, like, I got transported from here to like, but it felt like I was entering some type of, like, everything was condensing down, and then I was going into this like small little opening, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen when I got to the other side of that, because normally, as I've been, for the past 5 years, I've been having all these dreams that I had that have been coming true, and just all these songs and movies and everything that guided me, and now it's like they all completed, right? They all finished. In fact, it feels almost like a Donnie Darko type of experience happened. That's what it feels like. It feels like I realize now, looking back on everything, like, wow, did I just manifest all that happening with that? Did it really kick off or start with that new moon ritual that I did last week or so, that I told you guys about? Well, it was about a week and a half ago now, I guess. But or a week and a couple days. But anyway, that's doesn't matter. But it almost felt like I did that. Like it's just like sunk into me, and it was like I did that. Wow. And I had that whole huge experience because of this. Like I was like determined to prove to myself what was true and what was not, and all of this, like it just all wrapped up, and it's like all my dreams came true, and it was like, okay, now all my dreams have come true, and they're all in this little package, this 5-year package, and I put a little bow on it, and now what? Right? It's like, okay, I've been activated, I went through all these things to prove to myself what I can do, what I'm capable of. Now what? And I couldn't feel into the future like I normally do, and this is what's had me so nervous. And part of why I know that processing grief and letting go of my energetic anchors has been one of the focal points of the past month or so, I would say, because it was like that was what was going to take me to the next level. And still, I can feel a little bit more into the future now. I can feel like there's more to come. But for a minute there, while I was shunting myself through that tiny little opening, that little space, and one of the reasons I know that that happened is because this one of the signs that they gave me, okay, was this egg that I had found. And I told you guys the egg had like a little diamond shaped cutout. It looked like it was pushed back, but no yolk or anything dripped out. So for me, that symbolically meant, okay, so I'm in a new stage and I'm getting ready to break through. I'm getting ready to get through all this. And then sure enough, I feel better. It's almost like, okay, you know how I was saying, like the whole landscape of my life has changed because these, like my conferences that I usually go to, there really isn't, like the community has been fractured. And so I don't even know like where my main people that I hang out with, like where are they going to be at? Am I going to see them again? Like everyone, like the whole group. I was just like so upset, like I am feeling that way. Like I'm never going to see any of these people again, any of them, because if the community has been fractured like this, then how do we get everyone together like that? And then there's this group chat that I'm a part of where basically one of my main guys, Scott Savoy, I don't know if anyone of you guys know him. Him and Jermaine used to do these little live streams on Facebook together and everything. And that's how I got to know Scott, honestly, was through that and through going to an ECETI conference. And Scott Savoy is basically, he's definitely soul family, definitely super close to him. And so he was talking in the group chat with like Susan Long, which is another girl I hang out with, and Alex and Victoria Bloom, which apparently Alex is going to be speaking at this conference in Mount Shasta in July, I think. So something inside me was just like, okay, yes, it's like, this is still going on. There are still conferences to be gone to. There are still gatherings to be had. And it finally felt like a relief. Like, okay, no, I am still going to be able to see my friends again. Like, it's going to be okay. Like, I got through it, basically, But I did want to mention something. And hi there, Jason. Glad to see you here. Always a pleasure. I hope you're sparking one up for us. Because I can't smoke yet, because I can't smoke on days that I stream. So, okay. So to try and get through this as efficiently but as quickly as possible, I will say this. So when I tapped into what's going on with the war, okay, the main thing that my guides were saying to me was that there have been things that have been put into motion now that cannot be stopped, basically. This is what they were saying. Okay, so like regardless, it's almost like it's like the domino was pushed, and so now all the dominoes are falling, and there's no undoing that. And it did not feel positive in a good way at all. And then I ended up coming across this YouTube video by a Professor Yang. I watch this guy's work sometimes, and he's very logical. He's very reasonable. He also and he knows his stuff. He knows his stuff about how the world works, how the elites work, how the secret societies work. And this is partly why I followed him. So anyway, he had this new video out about talking about the war and what's going on. And he basically said almost verbatim, like that sentence, like that there are things that have been put into motion that can't be undone. And it's not going to go, like either way, it's like they kind of fucked us, And so what he was saying was that we can't pull back because if we pull out of the war now, that it will lead to financial collapse here in America. And that if we keep pushing forward, that what's going to happen is that they're going to try to possibly instate a draft, and that will lead to like a civil war, basically. So it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's like, this is what Trump has gotten us into, basically. Being paid for by you know who, the pro Philadelphia cause, we'll say, because that, as you know, I watched this guy called I Am Coach Collins, and he always refers to that country as Philadelphia, so that way he doesn't get censored. And I don't know if that's true. If people get censored just from saying the country's name, so I don't want to say it. So you guys know who I'm talking about. The people who, let's just say, the people who basically were responsible for killing Charlie Kirk. I mean, we know who it is. We all know who it was at this point. So I'm really just, I don't know, I'm praying for the world at this point, because something big is going to happen, regardless, considering what we're involved in now. Like, and I have 5 sons, you know what I'm saying? So if it comes down to them trying to draft, like, no, absolutely not. Like, and I've heard them say that type of thing before. I feel like, is that just a tool that they're using to try and scare people by saying, oh, they're going to like reinstate the draft. They're going to reinstate the draft, and I don't know how true it is, but I do know that this professor, who I highly look up to and respect, basically said that these are the 2 choices that our government has been left with, or has, pushed us into. We've been pushed into this. You know what I'm saying? And has anyone heard yet? Is it official yet that Bibi is his game over? Like, I still haven't heard, like, if they have seen him in public or not yet. If someone knows in the chat, like, if you have any like new news about that, feel free to drop it in the chat here if you guys have heard anything about that. But anyway, so weird manifestation. So let's see. I had 2 things I was going to mention: personal revelations and weird manifestations. So personally, I will say that, like I said, I've come to realize that the past 5 years might have been the result of a big manifestation. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of like I opened up the portal for that to happen, so to speak, like in the future, and somehow I affected the past. I don't know. It just seems like it all clicked into place for me suddenly. It was like they even told me, like Spirit even told me at the beginning, like, this is your ending beginning. I don't know if any of you guys remember that, but this is your ending beginning. Oh, hi Barry. Good to see you here. Lovely. So anyway, they, at the beginning of all of this, and them telling me, my guides telling me who I was and everything like that, and this was my ending beginning. And now I'm starting to see that truly was the ending beginning. And it's like it really feels like a Donnie Darko type of event, where I lived this whole thing, and there it is. And then the new moon ritual, it was like the ending beginning. That was the ending and the beginning. It was the ending and the beginning. I don't know how else to put it other than that. It feels right to me. I also feel a lot more, because what I prayed for recently was forgiveness, right? To learn not just how to forgive other people, but how to forgive myself. And that has been a really hard one to process and get through. But I do feel like I'm finally getting there. I feel like that's part of what some of the energetic anchors were from holding me back from manifesting. Okay. And so now here I am. I'm doing this everyday manifestations of, thank you, God, for the abundance of money flowing into my life. Thank you, God. I don't have to worry about any of that type of stuff anymore. And I've been carrying around my lucky coin. It's in my pocket even right now. I'm going to pull it out real quick again for you guys, just to remind anyone who might be new to my channel here, which thank you if you are, But yeah, so metals can be charged with energy. So yet again, I've been holding this coin and I've been saying, thank you, God, for the abundance of money. I'm an amazing good luck generator. But what I did not anticipate was that there could be actual programming inside of me that almost, it's like when everything is going right, when everything is going good, like, well, something bad's got to happen, right? Like, this can't just keep going good. I can't just be having this money flow in all the time. It's like there's this programming of self-sabotage that is in me or that like is part of living here on planet Earth possibly, is like this is part of what the brainwashing they do for people. I don't know, but I know for me that this feels true now. Like it was like, well, things can't just keep like us, like especially with this money and stuff. It's like things can't keep going this good, right? Why would I think that? Why would I feel like something's off, like something's weird, And it's like because things are going too good. Like it's like, what is that about? I should be allowed to just enjoy that, right? Oh, hi there, Chris. Good to see you. Um, so yeah, so here's what happened with the weird manifestation that I'm talking about. Okay, so I was been thinking on and off. I don't know if any of you guys remember this, but there was a few weeks back where in the YouTube live chats, we would only let you talk in another language. Does anyone remember that? Anyway, so I've been thinking about that on and off because it just so happens because like I've been activated fully, right? And I have these goddess powers that I can use and stuff like that. And so part of what I noticed was that this is just a theory, right? This is just hypothetical. So imagine you're a person, all right? Just imagine this. You're a person, and you decide that you're going to type something into the live chats, but you don't want, like you don't want to make it super obvious or something. So you like put it in another language, let's say you put it in Spanish or you put it in Chinese or something like that. Okay. And then the very next day, you're doing a live stream and suddenly everyone is only responding to you in another language. Okay. So it was my theory or what I was feeling like that these things were like connected, that it was almost like they manifested this event. Okay. It was like, but it didn't just affect one person's live stream, right? It affected all the live streams on YouTube at that time. So I thought, is this some type of like reflection back? Like they put this out there and then it got reflected back to them. And I thought if they have some type of power like that, and that's true, then shouldn't I be able to do something like that? And so I was trying to think of, okay, well, how could they show me I have some type of ability like that in some type of similar way? Like what kind of experiment could I do to run to see if I have some type of ability like that? I just couldn't think of an experiment, but then it came to me, or at least this is how it came through to me. I was driving the other day during door dashing. Okay. And I honestly didn't even need to be door dashing that day. I was just doing it to keep my numbers up on the app itself because you have to have so many deliveries in order to have these extra perks. And so I was out and I was noticing the self-sabotage programming. And I was thinking like, wow, like, so is this possible that this programming in me, that like when things are all going right and going my way, that something just inside me says like something's got to go wrong. And then I like create that? Am I like manifesting that bad thing happening? Like I started to kind of feel into that. And I was thinking about when in the past I've had like some scares and some shakeups when like it came to like the DoorDash app not working. And oh my God, what would I do if I couldn't DoorDash? Like I have to be able to DoorDash. And I was like really leaning into that feeling. And it was like, I was leaning into that feeling and I was thinking about the self-sabotaging thing and how it's like, why can't I just be happy and allow myself to keep going on this timeline and feeling and allowing myself to live in that feeling of, but because that's what you have to do in order to manifest something, right? You have to feel it. It's already real. It's already true. It's already a thing that's happened. And then because the inner world will always reflect in the outer world. So taking care of your inner world is what's most important, quite honestly. And so, but I felt this, I felt this negativity. I felt this like worry, and something just told me like lean into it for a second. Like I'm like I don't know if I really should because I already know I'm a manifester. And I'm like, but something I couldn't resist. And I like leaned into that like scared feeling of like, oh no, like something bad just happened. Like I needed a shake up or something. Like this can't be real that everything is just going right. Right. And I literally felt a bleep, a blip. I felt a blip of energy come out of me. It felt like an energetic, like EMP type thing. Okay. And it went out. And I thought, well, that's that's kind of weird. What just happened there? And but whatever. So I keep going on. I'm door dashing. I get another offer. I hit accept, and I go to pick up the order, and my app is doing something weird. It won't tell me, like, because you accept an offer, then it gives you directions to the store, and when you get to the store, it senses you're there, right? GPS, and you have to hit arrived at store, and then it will bring up the screen for you to confirm that you've picked up the order. So I've had it happen to me a couple times where I just had to reset my phone because when I got to the place, it was showing that I was just looking for offers, but it still had the order in my queue. So I was like, what the heck's going on? So I get to the store, I just restart my phone twice. It doesn't work. I can't accept the order. I can't pick up and confirm the order because the app isn't letting me go to the place where it will allow me to do that. And so since it had already been like 5, almost 10 minutes, I thought, well, you know what? If it's just my app, I'll just unassign this order and I'll let someone else take it. Okay. So I unassign the order and I just wait for another order to come through. And so another order comes through and I accept it. And again, it takes me to the store location, and then it goes blank. Okay. And I'm like, what the hell? So now I've restarted my phone twice. So I was like, okay, well, the only other option I know that's left, because if I call DoorDash customer support, I already know what they're going to tell me to do. They're going to, because I've been doing this full time for like 3 years now. Right. And so I uninstalled the app and I reinstalled the app, and still the order was in my queue, but it would not go to the screen for me to pick up from. And so I thought, oh shit, did I just look at that? I just leaned into that feeling. I felt the blip come out of me, the freaking energetic EMP, and then my app would not freaking work anymore. And so I tried to call customer service, called them twice, and it immediately hung up on me. So I thought, did they disconnect the number? So now I'm like going to the app trying to find another way to call them. And I call them again. It puts me on hold, and now I'm on hold for 15 minutes. Okay, so at this point I decided, So at this point I decided, I'm just going to take this as a sign that I don't even really need to be out here today, and I'm just going to go home. I thought, like, eventually I'll be able to get a hold of someone and it will get fixed, because at this point I'm assuming that I can't be the only one experiencing these types of problems, right? And sure enough, my sister, who's a DoorDasher too, she also was having the same problem. For a half hour, the DoorDash app stopped working properly. So now I'm left questioning and I'm left wondering, because I definitely don't want to run another experiment like that again, because it's working again now, obviously. I definitely don't want to run a terrible experiment like that again, but I just wanted to mention it because I think it is interesting to note the thought pattern I had with the hypothesis and the theory, and then I feel into it and I feel that blip, and then the DoorDash app itself gets knocked out. Because remember, the thing I was comparing it to was that someone was writing in another language in the live chats, and then the very next day, when they were doing a live stream, that's all that was letting them write was just people writing in other language. They would not let them write in anything else. So I'm like, okay, now this feels very similar. So here I was feeling into, okay, well, what if things can't keep going right? Something bad's got to happen. Blip, knock out the DoorDash app for a half hour. Not just for me, for the whole country. So is that how far my reach goes? Because I would think, even if that was something to do with an activation of sorts with me, okay, then it really went out like that far. Like, I would think it would only go out far, like a couple miles, maybe, like, I don't know, but it felt like a ripple wave that went through. So I'm left wondering again, like, was that for me leaning into it and thinking that stuff and feeling that way? Or was that me picking up on it energetically, that something like that was going to happen? And then I felt it, and maybe the shock wave was just me feeling that happened with the app. I don't know. I don't really know for sure, but I wanted to bring that up because I just was like, this is getting crazy, guys. Because if everything I've been talking about is true, if I went through all of that experience and I'm truly activated now and I have to take responsibility for what I create, good and bad, then I guess I better figure out what it is exactly that I want to be helping to create. And that's all I've really been doing. I've just been asking God, like, show me what you want me to create. Show me how you want me to do this. Like, how do I help humanity? The spell needs to be broken off of us. That's what they've done. They programmed and they brainwashed us at this point, and we need it to be broken so that way humanity can heal. Because a lot of these things that are impacting people in negative ways, I feel like isn't even coming from people that are humans. Like there's human bodies walking around that they're not even really humans. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have a true human soul in them. They can be demonic, they could be alien, they could be whatever it is that you want to label them as. But clearly there's something going on here, and that needs to be seen and it needs to be purged. You know? So yeah. That I wanted to talk about that very briefly, and I think I'll talk about one more small little thing. I'm just gonna check in the chat real quick because I just want to say I love you guys. Yes, hold on. Is that Barry Littleton with the YouTube channel? Yes, that's Barry Littleton with the YouTube channel. Super cool guy. I've met him a few times. We talk on and off. We've talked on and off over the years, you could say. Not on a daily basis, but sometimes, you know. Very cool guy. Definitely knows his stuff. Definitely one of the unique and authentic, the few very unique and totally authentic people out there doing the real work. You know what I'm saying? I'm just noticing more and more as time goes on, like the energy difference between people who are the real and people who are sharing stories because they just want to be, they wanted the attention, they want to be seen, they want to belong to something, be part of a group, you know. There's just something about it. It's very strange the way it's gone. It's like now people want to like relate to each other, like it's almost like they feel like it's like a Medal of Honor or something, like, oh, I've seen you here or I've seen you there. And it's like, okay, but you know what? How about we get to know each other as humans here? Like, because the thing I'm noticing and I've been disappointed with at this point, that it's really just been coming to my attention when it comes to these conferences and stuff like that. It's like people aren't bringing forward the information that is going to start helping each other heal our lives. Like that is what I feel like we really need to be talking the most about. The things that we've shared and we know about in this community, they're great, and I'm glad people have put all that stuff out there. But there comes a point where it's like, okay, we have talked about that stuff so much at this point, but how do we help people heal themselves so that they can come into the fullness of their abilities? Because basically we're like X-Men, right? We're like humans that need to be activated genetically, and we'll be able to have these X-Men abilities, so to speak, right? Like, how do we do that? Like, I don't hear a lot of people talking about manifestation and being fully in their creatorhood, and realizing that they're creating the good as well as the bad. You know what I'm saying? Because of their own traumas and experiences that are perpetuating that, because it's your perception of life that and how it works that is going to keep bringing you back the type of experiences that you need in order to heal and move past those. So what I've been doing is praying for the ability to have more space to hold for other people, so that way I can hopefully help listen to other people's stories and help them direct them in a way, or give them the guidance that they might need in order to get them on the path of being able to focus on what it is that they really want. Because if this is true, if we're all creator beings and we're all manifesting the things that we think about and we devote the most time and attention and energy to, well, the first thing people are going to need to do is be able to see it, and that is one of the hardest things to do, even for me, like really going through these past couple months, especially, and opening my eyes up to the trauma that was still in my body, left over and suppressed from when I was in the womb. Like that was like, like holy wow, I can't believe that I have literally been having to process that, process what my mom went through with my dad, like going through, allowing myself to finally go through all those feelings, because before it didn't make sense for me to have any of those feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just didn't to me. It's like, it didn't exactly happen to me, but it did. It did, you know? So yeah. Energy work. Yeah, energy work, baby. That's right, Joanna. That's right. And hi there, Trevor. I saw you say hi. Hi there. Yep. And Jerry. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. Definitely like, share, and subscribe, guys, if you haven't already. Okay. All right, hold on. I'm just seeing. Okay. Yes, yes. Yes, Tennessee, Kentucky. I'll just tell. Okay, I'll just read what you said. You said, you're describing a new disease. It's people that got artificial and now feel lost and need attention. Sad. They are basically lost. Exactly, exactly. They don't know who they are. They don't know where to go forward from here. They don't know how to help. And I feel like that's the thing I just want people and myself to be able to climb out of that hopelessness hole and realize, well, wait a second. No, there has to be something we can do, even if it's just doing our own personal shadow work and integrations, and energy work and clearing ourselves, and doing, praying for the collective. I mean, if that's the best we can do right now, then that's what we should do. But I feel like, the world has done a really good job at putting all these lovely distractions all around us to keep us looking at all these other things except for ourselves. That's one thing I am grateful for when it comes to door dashing and stuff like that. It's like it gives me that time to be by myself and to just have my own thoughts. If I don't get those times, if I cut myself short of that, then it seems to be when I really get overwhelmed and I go into like a freeze state. So I definitely want to get out of that. Okay. I just saw Easter potato and I'm like, what? Just decorated a baked potato? Wait, just decorated. I didn't know we were decorating potatoes for Easter. That's funny. That is funny. Okay, hold on. Yeah, you remember, Trevor, right? It was very strange indeed. It was very, very strange indeed. And so that's basically the premise of what I was thinking. Okay, if that can happen from someone else manifesting that, if that's the level that they're at because they're getting more powerful because we've been fully activated, then how is that going to show up for me with my abilities? Like, what are my full abilities here? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, yeah, I got it. I can give messages back to the future, back to the past. Okay, I got that part of it. Now, what messages do I like? Where do we go forward from here? And how do I tap into and possibly see the timeline of what's going on with Earth now? It just feels like for a long, maybe couple weeks or months, it's been like there's just been this cloud, this fog that I haven't been able to push through with my mind like I used to be able to do in the past. And so I'm even trying to do that now as we're speaking, or as I'm speaking here. And it does feel like it's getting clearer. The fog is like clearing. But it's been some shit. And so the last thing I'll just say before I pull our fortune cookie and do the tarot pull, because like I said, it has to be short today. And the reason it has to be short today is because my second son turns 23 today. And I told him that I would spend some time with him and we were going to watch, because he just got off work not that long ago. And we were going to watch an anime that we like to watch together called Beastars. So that's why I was like, I did want to come out here and say these few things real quick though. And I'm trying to make sure that I remember everything, because I don't write things down. But I guess the only other thing that I wanted to mention was, yeah, I guess you could say that someone that's been coming back up into my mind again lately has been my ex Braden. And I do think that is why I mentioned last week the show Love Between Fairy and Devil, And why that came up, because when me and him were together, they basically told me that he was the devil character in this. Okay. And I told him that at the time. And you know how spirit is with me and certain characters that they give me. It basically tells me, gives me like a sneak peek of what to kind of do expect. You know, like, and one of the reasons that I loved the show Love Between Fairy and Devil was because it showed the soul in not only just a human lifetime. It showed it on multiple levels throughout many lifetimes. Okay, basically. And so I realized after I spoke about it, guys, that the particular scene that I was talking about, where basically the devil character has been told that the fairy has been cursed with a, a bone jade bracelet that basically, if she doesn't stop loving the devil, it's going to slowly like kill her. Basically, it's like taking her life. But so he did all this mean stuff to her to try and stop her from loving him, and then it didn't work, right? And then she ended up sacrificing herself in a way to save him. And he felt so bad about that he ended up having to like nurture her primordial spirit, because you can't really kill a person. Like you can kill their body, right? But you can't really kill their soul. And so I've been realizing, I'm like, wow, okay, so why is this one coming up, you know? And so I did take a chance, and I actually read some more of the letter that he had written me. That was like a book that could not, I'm like, I can't read all this, guy. Like, I just, you know how like some people just like they can't watch TV anymore, you know? Like for me, it's like I don't have the attention to put into reading long things anymore. Huge long things. It's like super hard. It's difficult. I have to like stop and come back to it, and stop and come back to it. And so I finally decided to read some more of this letter. And it was kind of crazy, because if you, for the people who are new here, I'm sorry, you're not going to know some of this stuff, but I was having really bad heart palpitations when I was with him. And even afterward, like, I just was really struggling, and it was scaring the life out of me pretty much. That, and, you know, having the pains and the heart palpitations is also one of the reasons that drove me to have the strength to quit smoking, because the fear drove me to have the strength to quit smoking. But yeah, I thought it was very interesting though in this letter, the one I just was like, you know what, I'm just going to go to a part and I'll just read some of it, you know, and then I'll stop once I can't do it anymore. And so I basically went to his letter, and it was saying something along the lines of that he was worried because my heart palpitations, that I might try to sue him, and I might blame him for me having this heart condition and having these health problems. And so therefore that was just like one more reason that he felt like he had to like back off. You know what I'm saying? And so once I read that part of it, I was like, oh, this is why. I'm like, oh, this is why. You know, this is why they kept bringing up that scene for me. Because I was wondering, you know, like, what is that all about? Like, why do they keep bringing this part up for me? And so it's like, wow, he's still following the script. So I don't know if you guys are making the connection here, but it's like, okay, so the devil was basically feeling like he was being responsible for slowly killing the fairy. And then we got Brayden over here, that's who they told me one of his characters were. And he's basically saying that one of the reasons that he felt like we couldn't work out was because he was worried that my heart palpitations were getting so bad from the stress and the chaos of what was happening in the relationship, and that I might eventually sue him. So he followed a little bit, and then he like, there's a little bit of a twist in there, because it's like, do I really seem like the type that like, is that something people really do? Like, do they really sue each other for stuff like that? Like, I don't know. That is wild. But rest assured, I guess that part of me wanted to bring that up because I want to be like, do I seem like that kind of person, guys? Like, put that in the chat, put that in the comments. Does that sound like a normal thing? Am I crazy? Am I crazy for thinking that is like absolutely preposterous for someone to propose that, oh, one of the reasons we had to not be together was because your health condition, and I was worried you might, not that I was worried like you might die or something. No, I was worried you might sue me. Like, Am I right? Like, I'm a woman with 6 kids. I'm trying to do live streams. I'm trying to meme. I'm trying to work, DoorDash. And you think with legal stuff that I would, like, I don't even take my ex to, like, I worked out a deal with him to not even have to go to front of court for his child support because I hate the court system so much and I know how corrupt it is. Like, is that not insane? Okay. Okay. I'm glad. Thank you, Tennessee. Kentucky Bigfoot. Thank you. I'm not crazy for thinking that. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. We got some more comments. Thank you, Selena. It is fucked up. I'd be raging mad. I was a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, how dare you cop out? How dare you, like, take that type of, like, you will blame everything else but your own bad behaviors. Anything else. But it was just like, oh, sorry, I guess I didn't put in perspective who you are and, like, the kind of person that you've shown me to be, that I've known you for 3 years, like 4 years now. Anyway, guys, just so you know, don't cause me any health conditions because, I might sue you. Yeah, artificial intelligence is nice until it turns on you. Then it gets nasty. The golden age is living real. The golden age is not artificial. It's family and nature in the heart. We are in agreement. We are in alignment, Tennessee, Kentucky, Bigfoot. It's been a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much. Yes, we are in alignment. Lovely to see some new people up in here too. Yes. Oh, Barry is asking me to talk about real walk-ins. Yeah. Yes. I will, you know what, and I will get into, now that you've brought that up, I will talk about that more, but on a different stream, because obviously, like I said, I have to keep this one short for my son's birthday. Okay, I'm just going over. Yes, the audacity. That's right. I forgot. That's one of the words for 2026, right? That's what, like, the collective decided. The audacity. The audacity is one of our words for 2026. Oh, let me give it a little stretch. Oh yeah, let me give it a little stretch. Okay, let's do some quick. I told you guys this was going to be a short one. I told you. Okay, so let's go ahead and yeah, we're like losing people already. We got as many likes as we do people though. That's good. That's good. All right, let's go ahead and pull our fortune cookie, and then we're gonna do the tarot cards, and then I'm going to head on out here. And Victor's not even going to make it at all. He couldn't be here till 8:30. And I was like, I'm sorry, I can't stream that late, So anyway, be on the lookout for my episode next week with Veronica, you know who, Bartonelli, Veronica Bartonelli. I'm so sorry if it's coming across disrespectful for the last names thing, because I'm just really bad at pronouncing names. So definitely forgive me for that one. But and look out for me on Typical Skeptic here within the next month. So I love you guys. All right, let's go ahead and let's pull for the collective though. All right. Oh, fortune cookie. Here it is. Here's the one we need. I got it. It was this one. I knew it. I saw it and I was like, this is it. This is the one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. What does the collective need to hear? Are you ready, guys? Okay. It says, be most affectionate today. Be most affectionate today. Very interesting. Okay. Be most affectionate today. So, yeah, I guess I will. I will be affectionate with my son and my daughter and the rest of my kids. So, because, yeah, humans need touch. You know what I'm saying? They need human touch. They need hugs in order to feel connected. So, give someone a hug. Okay, that's the fortune cookie we got, though. Let's go ahead and let's do the collective card pull. Yes, exactly. It's all about following the heart. I mean, if I've been talking a lot about following the heart since I've even been out here. That was literally what got me out here, was following my heart. and manifesting, and my dreams coming true. That was what got me out here. Me wanting to know that this stuff is real, and that I like thinking that I can't be the only one doing this type of stuff, right? So yeah, I am really excited for the next full moon ritual. I'm definitely thinking about things that I want to put into the next full moon ritual, and I have I have my friend Jason here. He's going to be sending me some products. I can't wait to go over them. He makes deodorant basically, and he asked me which scent I want, and I'm actually I don't ever have. Obviously all the deodorants that are out there nowadays are like aluminum filled and stuff like that, so I don't usually wear deodorants unless it's something natural. I have this like incense stuff that you put on that it like mixes with your own scent that I've kind of liked, but I'm really excited to try this one because I have a good feeling about it. So, and I'll be giving Jason a shout out about it once I get his product and can show it to everyone. So look forward to that. But anyway, let's go ahead and everyone take a deep breath in. All right, so for whoever is watching this now and in the future, I just pray and I humbly ask that the one and infinite creator of love and light does assist us in letting this collective reading be accurate and easily discernible for everyone on an individual level. Let it make sense for them in their own way. And let us know what energies we need to be keeping our eyes out for right now. For the collective. What's going on with the collective? Okay, good. I feel like the shuffle was really good. So it feels like the energies are moving pretty directly now, which is good considering all of the astrological, the retrogrades and stuff are done. I'm pretty sure most of them are done at this point. And we're in Aries season, and we're in spring, so that should have some new fire, some new energy to do more things, right? All right, that's the last shuffle. They told me. They're like, that's the last one. Okay, it's the last good shuffle like that. So here we go. Yeah, I got it. All right. Okay, so what does the collective need to hear? What's the collective need to hear? 1, 2, and 3. Okay, interesting. All right, what's the next part of the message? 1, 2, and 3. Okay, yep, there we go. And what's the last part of the message? 1, 2, and 3. Okay, very interesting. All right, are y'all ready for this? Da 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 da. All right, that had to play, obviously. Okay, so the first part of the message that we got, and I was really I was really feeling about for the collective, for all of humanity here, like what energies do we need to be looking out for this next upcoming week or so, or whenever I get back here. All right, and the first card we got is the 8 of Swords. So as you can see, we feel pretty stuck. We feel pretty helpless. I definitely can relate to feeling this way when it comes to what is going on on the global stage at this point. There's a lot of thoughts that everyone has about it. There's a lot of places and things to be thinking about, but we don't really know the future yet. We don't really feel like we can make any certain type of move yet. But the truth of the matter is that we could even just be overthinking it. Okay, because this is definitely a card of overthinking. All right, because Swords is all about the mental mind space, right? Okay, the thing that always stands out to me when it comes to this card and the 2 of Swords is just that like all the information is not there yet. Okay, so it's like you have to find a way to free yourself, but you can't do that when it's like in order to free yourself, You have to find one thing to focus on, one sword. You only need one sword to lean against, one sword in order to cut those ropes free and free yourself from that. So it's like, what ideal is it that you need to, like, is that your self work? You know what I'm saying? Is that like your daily prayers of some sort where you're praying for the collective and being like, God, please? Because that's the thing that I've been trying so hard to figure out, like, what small focused, like laser pointer direct thing can we ask as a collective to be most helpful, most efficient, most productive? And I really thought it was interesting. And I'm taking this from, I think it was Tucker Carlson that said this. And he was basically, he posted a tweet and it said, we need to pray for the spell to be broken. And I feel like that is like a really good way of having distilled the thing that we really need to request. We need to pray for the spell to be broken. We need to pray that people can see, like they are released and they can see the truth and they get to have all the information that they need. But as it stands right now, there's just a lot of overthinking, a lot of fear, a lot of worry. Okay. And that's because we have entered a stage where things are changing entirely. They are transforming entirely. So we got the death card as our next card, which doesn't really come up for us that often, but I feel like it's a much needed transition time. So something is coming to an end. Something has heralded its way here, and it's made it. It's finally arrived, and so it's time to allow that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Because with every ending is a new beginning. All right, and so I find it interesting that this death card has all these swords on his chest. So it's like, it's almost like all those 8 of swords, you know what I'm saying? And now they're all being worn. So it's like all those ideas, all those thoughts. It's like, okay, now I see what needs to be happen, and there needs to be put an end to this thing. It needs to stop. It needs to die. Okay. In order for something new to be reborn. Okay. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that they want me to say about this card though. So we got the overthinking. We got the death card, which means it's time for a big ending of some sort. Something needs to come to a closure. Something needs to come to an end. Maybe that's the spell being broken. Okay. And in order to do that, or what you can expect afterward, which is kind of something like what I was just describing and experienced, is the 4 of Swords is the next card. So it's like if you're overthinking about something and you don't have all the information, it's like you need to focus on the one thing, free yourself from that overthinking, allow the death to occur, allow whatever it is that you're holding on to, like it could even be like the energetic anchors that I keep talking about that are holding you back from manifesting what it is that you really want. Like you need to be able to be aware of those. Like what is taking up space inside of your body, inside of your field? Because the thing, like, there needs to be more space and more room, and the only way to do that is to let go of things that are no longer serving you, which I found is like a very powerful prayer that you can put out. That was part of what I added to my new moon ritual just recently, which was I need to let go of anything that no longer serves me. I'm asking for forgiveness, as well as to be able to forgive. Okay, and then what happens after that? Well, you need to take a break and you need to let it simmer. Okay, this isn't a forever, like, no talking time, right? What I'm saying? Like, this isn't a forever meditation or break. It's not. Oh, okay. So, yeah, I guess because the death card could make you feel like, oh, well, everything is done. It's over forever. It's not. You just need to take a small break. Okay, you need to rest. You need to meditate. Okay, you need to put those thoughts down. Put the thoughts down. Put the thoughts down. Okay, like there's too many of them going on, and honestly that is the most relieving thing for me when I get into those places, because I get in those places. I'm a Gemini. I'm very mental in the mind. I get in those places where I'm just overthinking, and some of the best cure for that I've noticed is to realize, like, I tell myself none of this even matters anyway. You know what I'm saying? In 100 years, no one's going to remember me. No one's going to remember all the stories that I bring here. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe my great grandchildren or whatever will remember. But for the most part, all of this is eventually going to transition into something else, and for me in the past, that has been one of the most relieving feelings of my life, is like, okay, none of this even really matters anyway. What matters is right now, what I'm doing in this moment and what I'm experiencing in this moment. And when I get rid of all those thoughts, it's like I just pour them all out. It's like, and you just allow your mind to just completely clear. That is when the communication and the dialogue with God opens up. You know what I'm saying? That seemed to be when I used to call it my morning conversations with God. Honestly, I used to have coffee and I used to just sit outside and smoke cigarettes and just not think about anything and let God just guide me on what it is that I want. And that he would give me the most beautiful thoughts and the most beautiful feelings would come up with it. Now, that's what happened over all these years and stuff. It's like I kept gathering things. It's like it was like I was living, like I said, this Donnie Darko experience, this freaking very complicated, like all the different parts of my movie that were going on. Is like the more that piled up, the less space I had to invite other people into it, to invite other people into my life, because I had all this other stuff going on. And so it's like, eventually you have to get rid of all that in order for us to focus on what really needs our attention. Which direction does God really want us to go? Like I promise you, he will guide you, but you have to be willing to put all that other stuff aside and put it down. My camera's going crazy. All right. So lastly, the hidden energies, which I found very interesting, guys. Okay. So that's the collective energy, but the hidden energies for the collective we got is the Sun card. So to me, this speaks success. Like, it's kind of funny. It's like, okay, the Death card came through, the Four of Swords came through, we're taking this break, we're doing this meditation, and then what comes over, what has to rise again? Like if you're afraid that things are different and changed in a way to where they can never be the same, well, everything has to change and evolve and grow. It can't stay the same. It has to. Otherwise, anything that like stops growing dies. So it has to keep growing. And so the sun is the perfect energy to come along and help us do that. So the seeds that we had planted that maybe you thought weren't sprouting, weren't going to come to fruition, well, no, they've been granted permission through the sun. Okay, that if you make sure you use it correctly, if it's used properly, if you don't try to give the truth too harshly and like create a sunburn, so to speak, okay, but you just use the sun's light to look at things the way they really are, and to give and to nurture, okay, the seeds that have been planted. Because even with seeds being planted, if it has too much sun, I learned this from growing weed, actually. When I first, in my 20s, when I decided to grow some pot plants, I remember I kept the light on all the time at the beginning because I didn't know any better, because I was young and stupid. And I quickly learned that, oh no, actually you have to turn the light off and let the plants rest, right, in order for them to grow bigger. And so I ended up having like a completely stunted, like just crap plants, you know what I'm saying? And eventually I figured it out, and I was able to grow like the biggest, most beautiful bush that you could possibly even imagine, because I also put ormus on it. That's the secret. Shh. That's the secret. You put ormus on the pot plant soil. Okay. And it will grow huge. It'll expand. So anyway, but back to what I'm saying. So for the hidden energies, it's like there is some success coming. There is some success working underneath, behind the scenes for you, and showing you the truth so that you can know what decisions to make, know how to go forward. Because if you are actually letting go of the things that are no longer necessary, if you're actively giving to that and you're taking responsibility for your creatorship in your life, okay, then I don't know, I just get this feeling like you're bound to be successful. If we can keep our eye on the prize, on the goal, which is like, God, help us break the collective spell that has been put on all of us to keep us from seeing the way the world is really working, and that has made us feel like we are too small to do anything about it. Because I even got overwhelmed with that earlier today. I was thinking about like, well, like, how would the systems work if I was watching this video and he was saying, what if we all just like stopped doing these things and stopped participating in the system? It's like, okay, yes, but we have to have something else set in some other structure. We have to know like how we're going to still end up getting things done in a way, because like for me, okay, like one of my sons, he has diabetes, you know, how would we get our medication for him? Like I can't live without this child, you know, like absolutely not. Like, so that's the type of thing that scares me. So I'm just like, okay, but I can't focus on that. That's like the 8 of Swords, basically, right? That's me like overthinking things like, okay, but what I really need to focus on is that the death of the old system needs to happen. We need to go into some type of meditative state collectively here and gather ourselves together and really focus on the light of truth shining on us all for everyone to be able to see it. So that is my collective card pull. Yeah, you're late, Nima. Yeah, you're late. And it's a short one today, though. So I'm not going to be here for no 2-3 hours. I told you guys, my son's birthday's today. Anyway, I hope that you guys found this helpful. Yes, hi, Matthew and Honora. I want to say hi to you guys, of course. Okay, just going to see if there's anything else that I'm missing. Oh, yes, Joanna, I see your message. I've been praying for 12 years for people to wake up. People were praying for that before I was. Of course they were. And I think we've all been, a lot of us have been praying for this for a very long time. I think we're finally at the precipice where that's possible, you know, where it's possible we could actually bust it all wide open, right? Thank you, Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot. I appreciate you. Wait, what? Okra is apparently really good for diabetes and the cure. Yeah, well, good luck getting him to eat that. Like, because there's lots of things I want to do to try and help him fix that. And he is an Aries sun. And he's very stubborn and hot-headed. You know, so he's the one that's turning 23 today. So I still remember when we found out at 12 that he had type 1 diabetes, how absolutely devastating it was. And I remember thinking at the time that I just wanted to implode the world and just be done with it. You know, like I just wanted to be done with it. I was like, there's got to be some way for me to just completely end this whole thing. And I like really put like, I was just like, because I can't, you know, I can't, this is like too much. I just want the whole, like just all just be done with this, you know. But I got through it. And and he's so good about it. Like he's so on top of taking care of himself, and that, not that he's always been perfect at it, obviously, but I'm so proud of him, you know, because as a 12-year-old, he really took that in stride. And, you know, he had to give himself injections right off the bat, had to prick his finger a couple times a day, had to give himself injections every time he ate. And he was able to do it. He was a very tough guy when it comes to being able to do that type of stuff. And, you know, it's like, because that was the whole thing. I didn't even get vaccinations or anything like that, because I'm like, I don't want to hurt my child. I don't want to hurt my children. I don't want to prick them with anything, you know. And now here I went from this to, oh, now my son has to inject himself every single time he eats. You know, it just seems like very unfair, you know. And yeah, but you know, the day he was born, let's see. You remember, it was a warm day. And forgive me for going into this before I leave, but I just want to say this and have this be on record, right? Because that's usually what I do. On important events and important days like this, I usually go back and I think about it, and I kind of like relive it a little bit. In fact, that was like a tradition of mine with my kids, is that when it's their birthday, I tell them the story of their birth, right? And so for my son, Isaac, my beautiful blonde-haired boy, I remember they had me on bed rest for 6 weeks before I had him, because they thought that I was going to go into labor early, because I had had some cervical surgeries done where they had removed part of my cervix for dumb bullshit reasons. Now I know. And so they made it so that my cervix would start to efface and dilate before the baby was fully out or fully ready to be born. And so for 6 weeks, or from 32 weeks on, okay, pretty much, I was on bed rest up until 4 weeks before he was born. And I thought for sure once I get up and I start moving, I'm going to have this kid. Sure enough, though, he stayed in there for another 3 weeks. And he was born on one of my best friend's birthdays, actually. I remember we weren't even friends anymore. She was my girlfriend, my best friend growing up from like 10 to like, I don't know, 20 something. And he was ended up born on her birthday, and they're very much alike. It's so funny to me because they're so stubborn in the same ways and everything like that. And so I was on bed rest for this whole time. I thought for sure I will, and I'd already had one baby, right? I'd already had one baby in the hospital. I'd done everything that the doctors and all of them wanted me to do. It was like one of the worst experiences I ever had. It hurt super bad. They broke my water ahead of time. They did an episiotomy, ended up having an epidural. And when I got pregnant the second time, I was like, I can't go through that again. I cannot. That was like the most horrendous experience. And I was seeing a chiropractor at the time, and I found out I was pregnant, and he said, you got to use our midwife. You know what I'm saying? We just had a home birth. And I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing that people could do anymore. Right. So I went and I got a hold of his midwife, who ended up being the midwife I trained with because she was one of the best in the state. And so I was going to see her, and the pregnancy and the birth was so much different. I thought for sure I'm going to go into early labor. I'm going to have, and when you're at the end of a pregnancy, let me tell you, you want that baby out. You're just like every day, you're just like, oh my God, come on. Like, how much longer is this going to be? And we got to 23 years ago today, and I was walking around doing a bunch of errands with my mom. We stopped and we got Boston Market. I ate a big meal, and I was having a little bit of cramps and stuff like that. And I thought to myself, like, maybe I'm in labor, maybe I am, And so when I got home, around the time my husband got off work, which was like about 3:30 in the afternoon, we drove over to the midwives for her to check us, which I felt like she was like already annoyed with us because like I kind of bugged her a lot, like always thinking I was going into labor, right? And so I get there and she checks me and she goes, oh, you're 7 centimeters dilated. Like you're about to have this baby. And I said, I can't have this baby here. I planned on a home birth. Like that was the whole point. We haven't even filled up the water tub yet. I was going to be doing a water tub birth, And so she says, well, if you want to have that baby at home, you better get in that car and drive right now. And I said, like, okay. And as soon as she said that, as soon as I knew I was in labor, that's when it hurt. It did not hurt before this. I didn't even know I was in labor. I was 7 centimeters dilated. I didn't even know I was in labor. And so I get home, we drive as fast as we can home, and now it's really hurting. And by the time she gets there, I'm fully dilated and I'm basically getting ready to push. There's no time to fill up the water tub, and so I'm pushing. And within less than an hour of her telling me I was 7 centimeters dilated, I had my son. It was 2 pushes. It hurt like hell. It burned really bad. I didn't know that was going to feel like, 'cause I had an epidural before. And you have the ring of fire that happens, okay, when the head actually comes out. And I never felt that way before. And it's a feeling you don't forget. You never forget it. And sure enough, 2 pushes, and I had this beautiful baby boy on my chest. And he had blonde hair and blue eyes. And I didn't know what it was going to be either. I didn't know if it was going to be a boy or a girl. And so it was a nice surprise for all of us. And yeah, it was one of the happiest days of my life. Of course, every birth that I've had has been one of the happiest days of my life, even if it was not the best circumstances. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm really grateful that this beautiful boy came into my life. And he was such a happy child. He was very easy. He woke up really early, but his dad was also an early riser like him. Like him and his dad, they just have this schedule. Like they're just naturally early, like morning birds, whatever, Like I was never like that. So I was so glad that, I had his dad there with me to help him watch him, play with him in the mornings. And yeah, I guess that's about it. That was probably the second best of the births that I had. My third son being the best because it was in water and it was like one of the easiest. So anyway, I guess that's it. I guess that's all I really wanted to talk about real quick. Just let you guys know. Yeah, thank you, Selena. I appreciate that. Aries are amazing people. I have two of them in my household. So, and I do love Aries energy. Aries energy is great. Thank you, Joanna. I knew the women out there who've had babies. I knew that. I knew you guys would at least appreciate it, you know. Oh, let me see. Hold on. Aries here. Wondering about Pisces though, right? Okay. Hold on. Can he be trusted? Oh man, Pisces are dreamers. Let me tell you. Wow. Okay. Should you stay or should you go? Wow. Pisces will bring beauty and magic into your life if you let them. You know what I'm saying? But they are, um, what's the word for it? I mean, the stereotypical thing that they usually make fun of Pisces for is that they can be a bit delusional. You know, they can be a bit like the Mad Hatter. They can get carried away in their own projects and their own art and everything like that. I personally love Pisces energy. Okay. Personally, I love Pisces energy. I love Neptune in Pisces, which has been like what we've been in for a long time, you know? So, which like just like amplifies it, like Neptune in Pisces. Like Neptune is all about the planet of dreams, right? And illusions. And then Pisces energy comes in and it's like, it's like amplified. They amplify each other. So, right off the bat, though, I don't, yeah, you just have to. Oh, you said they were ghosting you and stuff, though. Oh, wait a second. Okay, he ghosted a couple times, coming back and chasing. I almost want to pull a card real quick. You know what? Let me just pull one card. Listen, I'm gonna go after this, but let me just. I don't know. I just feel the need. I want to just pull one card for you, maybe two tops. Okay, we're just gonna do that for you real quick. All right, Morani. Moran. I'm not sure how to pronounce your screen name, but yeah. Okay, we'll just do this real quick. Victor, you called. I was literally about to walk out the door. You were not even going to catch a second of the stream until we got person over here talking about Pisces needing to know. They need to know. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I'm just going to look at your name here again to tap into that. Okay, so we're asking about the Pisces. Okay, all right. They seem to flow pretty good, but they get stuck towards the end there, so they get cold feet, they get scared. For Pisces, I'm surprised. Pisces are usually pretty serious when it comes to relationships, from what I've learned. But you know, there could be other astrology at play there. Okay, so should she trust the Pisces? Should the Pisces be trusted? Tell us a little bit about this Pisces that she's dealing with. Okay. Sorry, I just got to get the energies good and mixed. Okay. Tell us about the Pisces that she's dealing with. Can he be trusted? Ooh. We're going to pull one card for clarification. Okay. Can they be trusted? Tell us about them. Boop. Okay. Okay. So not really. We got the King of Swords here. All right, so they're really good at using their words. They're really good at swinging that sword, so to speak. They can be pretty charming even, you know. But if I was just asking a yes or no, automatically right there, that would be like a no sign. And then, so after that, like I asked for a clarification card and we got the Five of Rods, which means there's some competition. You know, so there's some competition that perhaps you don't know about. Someone else that came along, maybe distracted them. You know, but just keep that in mind. As long as you know that going into it, you know, like, okay. The hidden energies that we got on the bottom of the deck is Justice. Okay, so like things will be rebalanced. I'm not sure which way you want to go with it, but like what's done is done. And like justice will be served. So just, I don't know how else to say this other than like he'll get what's coming to him, so to speak. You know, if he's not treating you right, if he's doing like without integrity and things like that, as long as you are staying true to who you are and treating him with respect and everything like that. I mean, if you feel brave enough, just call him out on it and just be like, well, it felt like, and maybe you even felt that instinctually. Maybe you felt like, well, the reason maybe he's ghosting me is because he's been distracted by someone else and he didn't make up his mind. So now it's kind of like he's like taking like taste testing like both dishes, so to speak, So okay, does he have feelings for me? I do get the feeling he does. I don't think he'd be coming back around the second time if he didn't. Oh yeah, absolutely. They want you. Yeah, they do. So just take that just keep that in mind, like what do you really want? You know what I'm saying? Like, be the one who decides, So if they come back around, it does seem like they have chosen you. You know what I'm saying? But can they be trusted? We got that King of Swords. So yeah. I hope that helps. Sorry. That was like very impromptu last minute there, but it felt necessary. I don't know. It felt like I needed to do that. Which I would love to stay longer. I was planning on pulling more cards for the people in the chat, but how can you donate? You can donate to I am Aurora Diamond Heart on PayPal or Venmo. I'm Cassandra Fileski. Victor, can you put a little link in the thing? Victor, thank God you're here. Victor, please. Okay, there we go. He did it. Okay. Oh, my website has my donation links on it. Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. Okay, but yeah, so yeah, either way, Cassandra Fileski is my my PayPal thingy too. So, although I think Aurora Diamond Heart came up, Victor told me, right? Yes. You better double check. I'm just gonna put it in here. This is what you can search me as. Okay, look for that name. That's my government name. Oh shit, now you know it. Appreciate you. Yeah. Yeah, not a problem. And come back. Come back anytime. Subscribe to the channel, come back. I do this thing on a regular basis, mostly regular basis. Okay. Yes, thank you guys. I appreciate that. Thank you, Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot. Really appreciate y'all. And now we got like 13 people. Oh, I'm sorry, guys, but you missed out. You'll have to go back and re-listen because I had a weird manifestation come through. I actually felt like a blip come out of me. It felt like an energetic EMP, and DoorDash got knocked out for 30 minutes. And I don't know if it was for me leaning into that and wondering and hypothesizing like what other things can I do. I don't know if that was for me or if I was just sensing that. But anyway, it's kind of interesting little story. So if you've missed it, please rewatch and please make sure you hit the thumbs up for me. I think, is there anything else? No, I don't think there's anything else. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. Oh, White Swan. She helped me out there too. I thought it was Victor for a second. Thank you, White Swan. I didn't even see you up in there earlier. Okay. So on that note, it's been a pleasure as always. I'll be back. Look out for me on Veronica's channel. Veronica Bartolini. Oh, I had to get it right? I have to before I have the freaking interview with her. Oh, anyway, look out for that next week, and I'll be on Typical Skeptic again soon. It's been over an hour already. This is a good short stream. All right, we're good. All right, have a great weekend, guys. Have a great weekend. I love you. Take care. Mwah.